Hi everyone, Duke Danger here, and in case you couldn't tell, I'm very excited today because I get to review something I've been waiting for a year and a half. That is, a HD remake that isn't just an upscaled version of the original fucking games, such as Hitman, Silent Hill, Devil May Cry, Dragon Ball Z Budokai. That's right, it's Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD, a game that's actually been completely redone. By which I mean it's exactly the same fucking game with 4 extra bits in it, one of which is a fast sale, which probably should have been in the original game anyway. Now, I'm not saying I don't like this game, I really do enjoy it, and the game does look beautiful, and they have put some effort into it, which is more than I can say about those other 4 pieces of shit. But yeah, it's worth picking up if you missed it back in the day, but otherwise probably I'd wait for the price to drop a little bit, because for £45, it's not really worth it. The game is exactly the same, the levels progress in the same way, the mechanics work in the same way. As I say, you've got the fast sale and tingle bottles, which are this bizarre little online feature where you can see things that other players have posted into these bottles, including pictures they've taken, which also includes the selfie, like GTA 5, with little shit boring captions that they put down. And oddly enough, I found myself collecting them religiously. I'd see a bottle miles out of my way, and I'd go, oh, a bottle, I'll go and collect that. And it'd contain something like a picture of Link next to a statue, with a caption saying, this is Link stood next to a statue. Well, thank you very much, you 8-year-old prick, for wasting my time. But the game's brilliant. It always has been brilliant, though. It's a little disappointing that there was nothing extra added in terms of story. However, from what I can gather, the extra dungeons that they were going to put in the original version of this, way back on the GameCube in 2003, were used in other Zelda games. I believe 2 were added into Twilight Princess and another 1 in Skyward Sword, but the less said about Skyward Sword, the better. But it's a good game. It is a good game. It's quite nice that you no longer ever have to pause the game, ever, unless you wish to save. By which I mean you can do everything on the fly, which makes the really irritating dungeons, like the Wind Temple, actually doable. It did take me about an hour to go through there, but it's better than the 8 hours it took pausing, unpausing, pausing, unpausing. While we're on the topic of Wind Waker HD, I'd like to touch upon Zelda in general. A lot of people keep saying, and I keep reading it everywhere, mostly from Sony fanboys, that Nintendo used the same IP over and over and over again. Which confuses me because from what I can see, that's no different from Call of Duty, Halo, Resistance. They're all the same IP. Just because they have slightly different characters in doesn't make them any different. But every Zelda game manages to be unique, and this one is definitely the most unique one. If I was going to recommend any one Zelda game, I'd recommend this one. Ocarina of Time is very much the same as any other modern one, because they're all desperately trying to get back to what they used to be, which was excellent, long, open, but none of them are as open as Wind Waker. I mean, the very fact that they've replaced fields with an ocean, which at the time, if I recall properly, I was only 13, people were kicking off about. I read a review just before it came out, saying that it was boring because of the sailing. Well, I never really got the correlation between sailing and walking around a field. They seemed sort of the same to me. Nothing to do in either. But yeah, basically I'm rambling, because there's not a lot to say about this game. It's the same game it always has been. It's the same 10-year-old game that everyone's used to, and that everyone who had a GameCube has played. If you didn't have a GameCube and you now have a Wii U, get it, definitely, because it's one of the best games I've ever played. But if you already played it, I'd wait, because otherwise you're just going to be disappointed. It's beautiful and pretty, yeah, and you can tell they've completely remade a lot of the textures, which is more than I can say about a lot of other HD remakes. But to be honest, it's exactly the same. It's quite handy not having to pause to change your weapons. It's quite handy being able to see people's faces. Which was one thing that always bugged me about the original, to be honest. You could never see people's faces, so why put all the effort into programming them? Regardless, it's worth a look. Definitely worth a look. Not worth £45, which is how much I paid for it on its release day. not worth that. If you were going to spend £45, there are much better games to get. You could get Arkham City Armored Edition along with Zombie U for less than that on the Wii U, and those two games combined provide much more enjoyment than this one does if you've already played it. Regardless of the fact it's still great, always has been, but I now have 2 copies of it, and the GameCube one is now worth nothing because of this. So that's all I've got to say. Sorry about the rambly talky shit, but my painkillers have just kicked in. So anyway, have a good one, party people. And for those of you who have been watching, thank you for your continued support. For those who are starting to watch, hi, welcome. And I'm gonna try and do this every week now. No more excuses, no more fucking about. Unless something absolutely tragic happens, I will be uploading every Wednesday or Thursday. So combine a little bit of news in there for you as well. See, I always give extra to my fans. That's it from me, Duke Danger.